Good evening. Welcome to the Village of Yellow Springs Board of Zoning Appeals meeting tonight. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have one case on the docket. Judy, could you take roll, please?
Yes, indeed. Simonson.
Present.
Osterholm.
Here.
Braska.
Present.
Halata.
Present.
Also present is Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development Coordinator?
Yeah,
Director.
fine.
Meg Leatherman and Aaron Arellano, Economic Development
Coordinator.
Coordinator. You're the coordinator. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judy. And communications, we have one in our package, and we have one on our place.
That is it?
That
Two,
is it.
yes.
Okay, would the board members please review the minutes to see if they agree? I'll give you a couple minutes, and somebody may make a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are accepted or as written.
Thank you.
Okay, if you plan on speaking tonight, I'd like you to, this is a semi-judicial hearing, so I'd like you, if you plan on speaking, I'd like to swear everybody in at once. It'll take about 10 seconds. So if you'd stand, raise your hand. If you just here to observe, you don't have to be sworn in. If you decide to speak later, we can always swear you in, but
Yeah, just in case.
do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth in this matter? Yes. Thank you. I told you it'd be quick. Meg, over to you, man.
All right. Yeah, this is a variance application submitted by Andrew Holyoke, who is the owner of the property, one of the representatives of the Swimfish LLC. The application includes one variance for rear yard setback, and the property is located at 312 West Whiteman and is on approximately 0.2 acres. The property is zoned RB, which is our medium-density residential zone. And Andrew and his wife are here tonight to speak, if you should have any questions later on. Adjoining property owners were mailed a notice on April 21st, 2025. Signs were posted on the property on April 24th, and a notice was published in the paper on April 24th, 2025. Also, I prepared a staff report that outlines the applicable code from the village zoning section of the code. This was provided to the board and posted on our website on April 25th. The project proposal includes renovation of an existing barn into a single-family dwelling. A single-family dwelling is a permitted by right use in the RB zone. The existing barn is approximately 768 square feet. It's presently located in the rear yard setback, so it's presently encroaching into the rear yard setback. The applicant would like to add a two-story deck onto the west side of the structure, which is approximately 180 square feet. And I have the application and documents and site plan provided in the staff report. The rear yard setback requirement for the RB zone is 20 feet, and the new deck would encroach 14.5 feet into the rear yard setback, which would be then a setback from the property line of 5.5 feet. So the variance request is for 14.5 feet. Should the variance be approved tonight by the commission, the owners will still need to submit what we call our new construction application, which is like a zoning permit that will have a more detailed site plan, and it's reviewed at the staff level. That will also, after that, should that get approved, they'll need to obtain approval of a building permit. That's an architectural drawings that get reviewed by our contract building folks, NIC. So the board should consider the application as it is related to section 127804, which you guys are pretty familiar with because it's pretty much the only section that we review things in compliance with. So in rendering a decision, and I'll stand for any questions you may have.
The new construction part's going to be for the porch, right?
Primarily, but will also be, the dimensions will be on there too of the existing structure.
That's what I wanted to ask. So the existing footprint of the barn is staying the same? We're just
Correct.
So the footprint's staying the same, nothing's changing, we're just going to add on the porch, so to speak?
Yeah, I had the same question.
Yes.
We're approving
Yep.
the porch and the setback, and they'll get their own approval to build this
Yeah.
porch, or actually construct it.
Right, so, and that is more of just like looking at the footprint, where the building permit will be more detailed and will relate to the barn as well, because I'm assuming, I mean, we've talked about this with Andrew and Beth for like at least 6 months, kind of trying to find a way of maybe avoiding having to do the variance request, or also if it could be considered just non-conforming, but I think they'll explain the rationale for that, but anyways, I think Andrew has a lot of experience in doing work like this, and so he knows that there's going to be like some more detailed information related to like converting the barn to a dwelling from the building code perspective, but we're not reviewing that tonight.
Any other yes?
I have a question.
Please.
Is there anything to suggest that this would affect delivery of utilities or fire hydrants or emergency access?
It will affect it from the standpoint of they'll have to connect into sewer and water. But yeah, we typically do that with the building permit submittal, and we do have tap fees associated with those connections that they'll have to pay for.
Sir, would you like to add anything?
And if you do, please come up there. Just
Yeah.
mainly for the recording and people, all the millions of people watching us right now.
To the neighbors. And I'll show it to you, maybe. So I have had some experience building. We have had some experience building. And you might ask why we want to put the screen porch here. This is a second-story screen porch, by the way, because the main living space is upstairs. I better look at my notes here. So, in our buildings, we like to put the public space to the south, which is this side, and we like to put the bedrooms to the north, hence the kitchen goes in the middle. In my personal experience, screen porches have to be next to kitchens, because if the screen porch isn't next to the kitchen, you don't eat on it.
Right.
Because the dining room table's easier. So, we can't put the screen porch on any other side than this, because the north side is where the access is, and we're too close to the property lines. We wouldn't put a screen porch on the south, because the sun, that'd be a waste of sunlight. So it pretty much has to go in the west, has to be next to the kitchen. The spaces of the bedroom, there's some.
Andy, if you can just to the board, please.
Okay, all right, yes, ma'am. There's structural walls here that can't be moved, giving us a 9-foot space, 3 9-foot spaces. So we don't want to break our kitchen up with a door in the middle of it, because kitchens are a problem enough to lay out already. So we feel that the proper place for the door to the screen porch is to the south of the structural wall, which means if we put the screen porch right up against it, we end up being, it's 7 feet from the foundation to Troy and Jerry's property, but it's 5.5 feet from the eaves, which is what we counted from. Furthermore, the part of the screen, we could do a much narrower screen porch and not impact it, but because you count from the overhang, the screen porch would end up being something like 6 feet wide. The 6-foot wide screen porch isn't too useful. So that's my rationale.
Questions for him, board?
And just in our readings, we said that's just a second story. It's a second story porch, or is it 2-story? It's both, it's up and down?
The downstairs, below it would be a place where I put stuff.
Okay.
So storage,
Outdoor storage.
Yep,
storage.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense.
I have one question. In the paperwork, it sort of contradicts it. One place it says, unless I read it wrong,
That's probably my fault. So let's
Okay.
see what this is.
it says you're the owner of the property. On the project description, it says Camp Fish
Yeah.
Swim LLC is the owner of property.
Let me explain that, and thank you for the opportunity. My sisters and I are this corporation. Sole purpose is its sole purpose, and its only purpose is that we own the property we inherited from my parents,
Oh.
which includes the barn property. We are in the process of separating that, me and Beth getting the barn, and it's the lot sits on, and we own the property to the south of it. Beth and I already own that property, which is why we don't have a problem with setbacks to the south.
Ah,
Yeah, and I was afraid people would say, ooh, this is an LLC. We know about LLCs, they put in comedy clubs and things like that.
so I'm going to ask you another question. Who owns the property now? The LLC?
At this very moment, the LLC still owns it.
And then-
The lawyer is working on some documentation for us to be able to own.
Which is Andy and Kitty Jensen, right? Is the other,
And my other sister.
okay, yeah.
Right. So, that's all I have. Anybody else?
Thank you.
I'd like to open yes, thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing now to the public, obviously. Nobody saying anything? I'd like to close the public hearing. Any questions before we go over to the Duncan rules, fellas?
Yep, I'm good.
I'm comfortable.
Judy, you're on.
All right, I'm going to roll right on, and if no one throws out a hold-up, I will just keep rolling. All
Can
right.
you give them a quick extra, or you always do?
Oh, no.
So they don't think...
Understand, certainly.
Thank you.
So the Duncan standards are a legal requirement. There's not a requirement that all of those standards have to be agreed to, or even that any of them have to be agreed to in order to approve the variance or not approve the variance, but they have to be considered. Most folks have done the consideration ahead of time, which is why we rolled through fairly rapidly.
Thank you.
But don't get concerned if there are a lot of no's happening or something.
What you're trying to say, no, is not bad.
Yeah. Just- yeah. All right. First question, whether the property in question will yield a reasonable return or whether there can be any beneficial use of the property without the variance. Raska.
Yes.
Palata.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
2, whether the variance is substantial. Salmonson.
No.
Raska.
No.
Osterholm.
No.
Palata.
No.
3, whether the essential character of the neighborhood would be substantially altered or whether adjoining properties would suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance. Osterholm.
No.
Palata.
No.
Salmonson.
No.
Raska.
No.
4, whether the variance would adversely affect delivery of governmental services, and you know what those are, water, sewer, electric, stormwater, or refuse. Raska.
No.
Salmonson.
No.
Osterholm.
No.
Palata.
No.
5, whether the property owner purchased the property or acquired the property with knowledge of the zoning restriction. Palata.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Raska.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
6, whether the property owner's predicament feasibly can be obviated through some method other than a variance. Osterholm.
Yes.
Raska.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
Palata.
Yes.
7, whether the existing conditions from which a variance is being sought were self-created. Palata.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Raska.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
8, whether the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement will be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance. Raska.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Pilata.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion's done. Yeah. Matt?
Motion to, oh, I'm sorry?
Yeah, please.
Motion to approve the variance to the setback request?
I'll second the motion.
So you're moving to approve the variance for 14.5 feet to the rear setback.
A variance of 14 and a half feet.
Correct.
Yep.
Variance of 14 and a half feet for 5.5 feet setback total.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Raska.
Yes, in favor of the motion.
Pilata.
Yes.
Osterholm.
Yes.
Salmonson.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have your variance. Good presentation. Okay, we'll go back to my favorite topic, agenda planning.
Yes, we do have June.
Yes, you guys are set up.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Okay, so we got a June meeting?
Yep.
Yeah, you're free to leave, or,
This is the good part, though.
Yeah, you leave.
oh, we'll be done in 2 minutes.
I believe it's June 13th.
June 13th.
Wait, no, June 4th, right?
They brought a whole pack with
So,
them.
yeah,
That is
I
that
don't know, I have it in my calendar.
I'm not even looking at it. So
June 4th.
if she
Yeah, we
says it's
wanted to
June
do it
4th, it's
before-
June
yeah, I wanted
4th.
it before street fair, 'cause, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna
Very
You
important.
gotta save that voice for hot dogs.
Yeah,
dogs.
it's fence
Hot dogs. hot
Okay.
on a corner lot. Fence site on a corner lot is what it is,
Yeah?
so.
Yeah, it took me a second to find that one.
So we have the agenda planning discussed. Can take a motion?
To adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. 15 minutes.
We beat
All
it, Anthony.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
I think.